I'm Dani Wallace, and welcome to Be Inspired. We are here at the Impossible Manchester. We bring together the best speakers in their field to teach you all about spiritual connection, business growth, personal development. It is a one-stop shop for lighting up your life and your business.
I've seen Dani on Facebook, so I was curious to find out more about her and how she works. She's got an amazing energy to her.
I came today so I could sit in the audience and soak it all up, having spoke at the last Be Inspired.
I attended on Zoom in April and it was fantastic, and it had already changed my life at that point, so I knew that I just had to be in in real life this time.
Be Inspired is an event where you can come and recharge, reinvigorate, get yourself plugged in, hyped up, ready to take on the world. Some people want to connect with their business and their mission message and share that to a wider audience. Some people want to reconnect with their story and use their experience as somebody else's survival guide. People often come to me and think, oh, I want to be a speaker on stage, and this process is so much more than that. We hang out like the weirdos, like the crazy people, the people that actually do something with their lives, that plug into things like personal development, safe spaces for us to grow, to learn together and to support each other.
I have loved every minute. I am super pleased that I've nailed what I wanted to do.
The whole experience with Dani, she really helps to pull that out of you, and she helps to make sure that you're prepared, and she's there like holding space for you the whole way, although I thought I was going to get my pants.
It has pushed me completely out of my comfort zone, but I've done it and it's an incredible experience, and now I want to do more.
There are a few ways you can get involved with Be Inspired. One is to join the Be Inspired Mastermind. Every 6 months, I open up 20 spaces for 20 incredible people to share their business and their mission message, and also work with me to really hone their talks so they can go and get booked, reach more people and make more money, honey. Or if you're not quite ready for that, just come and be in the room where it happens.
Be Inspired has been just such an incredibly positive experience for me.
Go for it and spread your message, because really powerful things happen when we all get together and connect.
You've got to be here, be inspired.
If you're thinking about buying a ticket to this event, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now.
You can join us at the next event of Be Inspired on the 31st of March and 1st of April 2022. You would be a fool to miss it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show, Wise Up, Rise Up Show. This Wise Up Wednesday. I don't know if you can hear. I have a little frog in my throat. I don't know who invited him along. Let me just excuse me while I clear my throat. How are you? I hope you are all well. I hope you're all feeling good. This Wednesday, I have got not one but two guests for you this morning. So for anybody that's new to the show, welcome to the show Up Wise Up Rise Up Show with me, your host Dani Wallace. I am the Queen Bee, which is a ridiculously audacious statement to make. I'm quite aware, but it's much less about me and much more about you. Yesterday was International Women's Day. And I did a little bit of a live yesterday, late on. I didn't do it as part of the show, but I got my ranty pants on because I saw loads of people posting about, oh, these are my favourite women. And it was just amazing. Like, my whole feed was women shouting out women. It was men shouting out women. It was binary people shouting out women, and just really kind of reveling in the womanhood of everything, which was great. But it's not great for one day. And I got my ranty pants on. I was going to post and I was going to shout loads of people out. And because like my circle is tight. Like if I look at my power squad, the people that I'm surrounded with, my family, the women that came before me, the women that are in my life right now, my cousins, my mum, my sister, the guests that are on this morning, I could shout out a fulfilling different people. And actually what I did yesterday instead was spend time actually doing the work that International Women's Day should inspire, which is finding ways to raise the bar, finding ways for us to become more even more, for us to be able to have access to more things, for the ones that are really forging ahead, that are not too tired to roll the sleeves up and get shit done, to get shit done so that people around us and before and after us don't have to make things easier. And that's what I was doing yesterday. So I won't beating myself up. My politics for today, everybody, my t-shirt in the spirit of International Women's Day stroke week this week, because I'm celebrating all week, is this. Remember that your insecurities were created in a boardroom full of men. And that is not to say, you lot, that I don't like men. I do like men. I married one. In fact, I've got one over there in bed scrolling his phone. Oh, yeah, you're right. He's actually my husband. I haven't got an additional man in my bed, PS, just to avoid any controversy this Wise Up Wednesday. It is Wallace. Say good morning, Wallace.
Hello.
This is not, he's not snoring this morning. People are asking me, are you snoring?
Why are they all lying?
But they're not. He says you're all liars. He doesn't snore. You've never heard him snore, ever. It's not. You're all fibberers. But yeah, I got my ranty pants on yesterday for International Women's Day. Not because I didn't enjoy all of the shout outs. I proper did. And it was beautiful. By the end of yesterday, I must have been tagged in about 70 different posts for inspiring somebody or, you know, being integral as part of their journey. And honestly, it just filled me up. And then I thought, well, great. That's one day. Now what we're going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do the day after that? And what we're going to do the day after that? So for me, it's really important that I spend my time building my platform to share other phenomenal people, other phenomenal women, and also people from marginalized communities, people that are othered as well. It's important that the work just doesn't stop with International Women's Day. It helps us all the way across the board. It helps us all the way across the board to do the work every single day, not just on the days where we're all shaking our pom-poms, which is very nice, like happy birthday, but you are a wonderful, glorious human being of the universe every other day of the year, and you should be celebrated. So hang on a second. I genuinely am not sure what was fine in a political or international level to move things forward yesterday. Interesting, and it's a good conversation for us to have. What was done in a political or international level to move things forward. I think the interesting thing is, the more that we talk about these things, the more that we talk about the inequality that happens. I mean, even if we just look out in the workplace, let alone just walking around as women. Like I was talking yesterday about, walking home from a friend's house, for example, with your keys in between your knuckles, having those, she was just walking home situations. Like, even if we don't talk about that and we talk about the inequality in the workplace, and 8.2%, only 8.2% of the Fortune 500 are women, yet businesses that are in the Fortune 500 outperform those with lower representation by a million miles, from a financial perspective, from a nutrition perspective, all of that. So even if we just talk about getting more women in the boardroom, getting more women in conversations, getting more women shouting and speaking and telling the truths, and this morning we are telling some truths, and we're also celebrating some of the phenomenal women in our community. So first up, we've got an incredible photographer joining us for a few minutes to tell you something very exciting that she's going to be doing off the back of Be Inspired. Rachel Murphy, get your backside in here. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Look at you. It's Rachel with the mermaid hair.
Mermaid vibes this morning. Mermaid cowgirl, I went for.
You're a mermaid cowgirl. I am enjoying the fantasy theme. I am here for it. But yeah, Rachel, good morning. Thank you for coming to join us on the show this morning, because we've been cooking up something a little bit exciting for those people that are going to be inspired.
We have. I'm very excited.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, because it says Rachel Murphy, authentic baby photography. Now, for Be Inspired, I don't think anybody's bringing the babies.
No,
I don't think they are.
Okay.
But authentic baby photography isn't just the one thing that you are incredible at. But tell me, before we go into what we're doing, tell us a little bit more about authentic baby photography, because I love it. I love the premise of it, and I love your whole idea behind it.
Okay, so yes, I'm Rachel Murphy, and I am a photographer. My business is Authentic Baby Photography, which is I'm I guess the best way to describe, I'm a non-wanky baby photographer.
A non-wanky baby photographer, everybody. Can you give us an example of a wanky baby photographer? No, please. Now, let's be very, very clear out there that if this fits under your umbrella, that is not, we're not saying that you're awful and terrible. We're talking about alternatives here. So tell us, talk to us.
Oh my goodness, I love all photographers. That is not me. Oh, I'm so sorry, my bloody dogs are in the background again. No, it's just my style is very simple. It's natural, so there's no props or anything like no babies in buckets. So that's what I mean by.
And it's interesting because there is a whole demographic out there that love, you know, the Harry Potter babies, and it's cute, and baby Yoda babies, and babies in bucket babies, and the whole Anne Geddes thing, and it's cool. But I have had people like inbox me before saying it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable, like babies out of context don't make them feel good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't keep babies in flower pots at home. I don't. I mean, maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Maybe people wheel them around in wheelbarrows. I don't know, but I base it on me.
So for the people out there that want to capture more candid but beautiful shots of their children when they're tiny, and not just their children when they're tiny, but also mums as well. Like, I love what you've got to say about mums. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I am all about getting mums on camera. So mums in photos. If we look back at photos when we were kids, I don't know how many photos with your mum you have, and we're always the ones taking the photos. So I'm always the one behind the camera, snapping my husband away with the kids. We've got a million beautiful pictures of him with the kids, and there's a couple of me kind of like weird, like all the chins, where he's managed to get one, but
trying to get a selfie. Literally me yesterday trying to get a selfie of me with the girls with the ring light, piling ivy on my shoulder. So no one's like, Wallace is downstairs working, he's not stopping. Wallace, will you do me a favour? You come and take a picture of me and the kids, please? He's like, no, babe.
And then that takes away from the moment, doesn't it? So yeah,
no, it's gone now. Thanks.
No, it's fine. Don't bother.
But we do, because we do think about, we really want to capture these moments, and as parents or guardians of kids, or even ourselves, like, I was that friend who didn't want to be in front of the camera because I wanted to take pictures of my friends together. You know, the rise of the selfie helps that somewhat, but it's nice to have those mums with the children in front of the camera instead of they're not just memories for you so that you can remember your kids. It's legacy as well, isn't it? It's about what are your kids going to look at and remember? How are they going to remember you, and giving them opportunities to remember you as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. That's it. And so I do a lot of work with mums and helping them feel confident on camera, and just doing it in a really natural and relaxed way. So I've had lots of families come in that said if they hadn't found me, they wouldn't have booked a photo shoot because they didn't want that baby in the bucket thing. They want what I do, and they want that connection, and they want that. So that makes my heart sing when I hear people. It breaks my heart to think that people miss out on photos for that reason.
And you're so talented as well. So if you aren't on Instagram already, if you don't follow Rachel on Instagram, follow her Authentic Baby Photography. Her photography is just out of this world. It's beautiful, but not what you are sharing this morning with our incredible Be Inspired folks. So Be Inspired is on the 31st of March, 1st of April. It's a huge personal development business event. We've got 2 days, 22 speakers from all different backgrounds, ethnicities, all different topics, from spiritual development, personal development, financial development, everything in between. Lots of entrepreneurs in the room. What have you got to offer? Because you're going to be there as a guest. You're coming along as one of the guests.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
We're going to hang out, which is amazing. But on Saturday, you've got something really special for those people that are sticking around. Tell us.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm hanging around for an extra day because I'm down right on the south coast. So I'm down in the New Forest. So while
you're making the most of it.
I am. And so I'm hanging on for another day to go and spend some time around Manchester. I know there's some really cool places. So while I'm there, I'm offering some banging branding mini photo shoots for
mini photo shoots. Yes. So top end of this year, it might have been difficult for you to have got to a photographer, for you to have got a shoot booked in. It might have been too expensive for you, for lots of reasons, like directly after Christmas. But now is a really great time to be, as we're looking into looking at Q2 in the face. To refresh some branding photos. If you're needing headshots, if you're needing some branding photos, if you're needing some things that are stand out but really great quality photographs, then get yourself a mini shoot booked in with Rachel for Saturday, the 2nd of April. How do we get in touch with you for this?
So you can contact me through Instagram, so Authentic Baby Photography, or email me hello@authenticbabyphotography.com. And so yeah, these will be my authentic branding photo shoots, kind of going with the theme. But yeah,
so we won't be popping you in a flower pot for these photos. Just FYI.
If you're bringing a bucket with you, then yeah, bring your own, and we'll see what we can do. But otherwise, no. It's just about capturing your personality, and just so that you can show start getting visible. And
amazing. And in the spirit of everything that we're doing with Be Inspired, for those that are new, that you might feel like, oh, you know, branding photography isn't for me, but it's really, really important to set you apart. Nicole's going to bring a wheelbarrow. I can imagine that being quite a fun shoot, actually, but still. But yeah, in terms of having professional photography of you, you know, being the face of your brand, it's really, really helpful. So thank you so much for being able to offer this. There is a post in the IATQB Hive, which is my free group. If you are not in the IATQB Hive already, please do come up in there. There is no catch whatsoever. We share our successes, share our challenges, and also there's the post from Rachel in there sharing a little bit more about the authentic branding photography mini shoots that you can take part in on the 2nd of April in Manchester, directly after Be Inspired. Rachel, thank you for joining us this morning, my darling.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'll see you soon. Take care, my love.
Bye.
So go and check Rachel Murphy out, Authentic Baby Photography. It's not babies that we're taking photos of, though, on the 2nd of April. It is mini brand shoots for you, for your business, to really help with your visibility. So go and get amongst that. Go and check it out. It's not going to break the bank, which is phenomenal, considering the quality of photographer that Rachel is. So that's our first guest this morning. And our second guest this morning, I am so excited. If you have not met this phenomenal human being already, you are about to have your lives changed. The owner of the Manifestation Kitchen, friend of mine, and also new to friend of yours. Please welcome to the show, Victoria Dioh. Victoria Dioh. I didn't get that right. Vic, you're on mute. What a dickhead.
I love that. Do not apologize. Seriously, some people say Victoria Dish, so it's Victoria Dioh. But that's okay. I know. Some people say Victoria Dish, and I'm like, no. There's no S. There's no S in there.
I can't see an S there. I'm so sorry that I got that wrong. I'm an absolute
Do not
knob.
apologize at all. Don't. You can tell you from up north. Knob.
Up north. I think the term knobhead isn't used enough. I think it's kind of vicious enough and soft enough still that it's either he's a proper knobhead him or you knobhead. Like it's really you can kind of like soften it down or spice it up. Talking of spicing it up, Victoria, tell us about what you do.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on here, and I really appreciate it. I've been watching you on and off for about 2 years, so I love this. I love that I'm here. So what do I do? My name is Victoria Dioh, and I focus on making corporates happy. So anybody in the corporate world who is miserable, who needs healing in a form of way. So that's a nice segue, because most people know me as an African oracle.
Right.
And that's a very long story, but I got initiated in Africa a few years ago, and I heal people through food, words, and energy. My focus, though, is to make sure, because I used to be one of those, that anybody who's in the corporate world or who has a business, if you're not happy, to find out where your happiness lies.
Right.
And it's normally within the reason why we're put on this earth.
Right.
So there's a reason why you're as joyful and bubbly as you are, because you found it. It's like, even when you're having a tough day, and you have had tough days, I've been following your journey, you don't lose sight of the fact that you know why you're put on this earth, which is why you can switch around from being completely heartbroken to yay, rather, yeah,
Yeah,
rather than living,
absolutely.
rather than living in a home of misery, which is not anybody's fault. It's just because you don't know why you were put on this earth, so you don't have a purpose.
Right. And you, I mean, what a phenomenal calling for you in terms of, being able to help people unlock that, because it, as a speaking coach, as somebody who helps people with messaging, I get people kind of just after they've realized, so they open that up for themselves, and it's often a really long, arduous, sometimes traumatic, sometimes painful journey to get to understand the reason why you're here, especially if you've not been exposed to this kind of language before, if you've not been exposed to this way of thinking before. That many of us will think that, we're put on this earth, we happen by a happy accident or an unhappy accident, however kind of accident, but here we are by accident. And how do we live on purpose if everything around us is an accident, right? And that's a really difficult spot to present in, I think. Do you not think?
So, one, there are no accidents, just like there are no coincidences. I think what tends to happen, and this is how I explain it to clients, from the moment when you're born, you forget that you've been in your mother for 9 months or thereabouts. And it doesn't matter what your story is. So whether you were born and you know your birth mother, whether you're adopted, you came into this world via somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole DNA, the whole history, the whole path, there's a whole line of golden thread that we don't connect to.
Right.
We believe that our life starts the moment we're born. But let's just say our life starts from the moment you're born.
Mm-hmm.
You come out, and in most cases, you come into the arms of somebody who collects you from your mum.
Yeah.
And remember that your mum has gone through her own emotions, which means those emotions come through you, because at one point you're one. And then you pick up the emotions from the nurse. Who picks you up, and then the next nurse that picks you up, and then all the energy around the hospital in most cases, and the environment of the city and the town and the home and your cousins. So by the time you start thinking for yourself, which is a lot sooner than you realize, you've already created an identity. And it's forgiving to say that a lot of us then go, well, I am Mary's daughter. That's my mum's name. I'm Mary's daughter. I'm Muketa's daughter. That's my dad's name. And my job is to do what they tell me to do, or at least to follow in their line of legacy.
Right.
And whilst that makes us, or some of us, happy, so it might make my mum happy, or it might make my dad happy, or some of the family happy, your soul knows exactly why you're put on this earth. And that's where the misalignment happens, is you think you have to go down one route, and yet that route is left void until you have that realization, which is a major realization. And that's where you start to feel the discomfort. That's where you start to feel down and depressed and worried and create conflict for yourself and what have you, because there's a massive gap that you've not tapped into. So it's like coming home. If you're away from home, so imagine getting lost in some woods and not knowing how to come back. Imagine that emotion. It's a very similar emotion to not knowing what your purpose is.
Right.
And then
that
coming
makes a
back
whole heap
there.
of sense. It makes a whole heap of sense. Yeah. I remember being a singer, and being a singer full time, but from when I was like 17, 18, and I'm traveling abroad and I'm singing and I'm good at it, and it's a talent. And I love entertaining people. I love making people feel good. That's probably, if I talk about any superpowers that I have, one of the superpowers that I have is that I can make people feel like they can do anything. I didn't realize that. I just thought I wanted to make people feel good, people to externally validate me. But whilst I was doing that, I wasn't very fulfilled. So I was traveling the world, had these great jobs, but I was drinking a lot. I was still like in a lot of trauma from growing up, and not learn enough self-awareness to realize that that's what it was that I was doing. And then moved into corporate. And then when I moved into corporate, I loved teaching, but it wasn't making a difference. So I had this lost feeling that I was like kind of getting it, but not getting it.
Yeah.
So I was
yeah.
like skirting around the outside of what it was almost like I could see inside the glass house that was my
Yeah.
purpose. And I knew it had something to do with performance. And I knew that it had something to do with music. And I knew that it had something to do with teaching and talking. But none of it was filling me up in the positions that I had fallen into because I thought I should. I thought I should be a singer because I can sing. I thought I should be in corporate because that's a proper job. And actually, when I realized that the skills that I've got are superpowers that I need to pull together, I needed to learn everything I learned in corporate. I needed to learn everything I learned on the stage to pull it together for my bigger purpose, which was actually what I used to dream with my sister about, which was, you know, helping people and changing people's lives and breaking cycles. Once I started to do that work, I couldn't help but get out of bed in the morning. I couldn't help
Yeah.
but press go live when I didn't want to press go live, when I was
Exactly.
feeling physically tired. That I felt, when they say having an awakening, and it does sound glib to those people that might be listening right now, but that's exactly what it was. And the
It
fact
is.
that you help people find that and unlock that is just amazing. It's mind-blowing, which is why I wanted you to come on the show this morning, because more people need to know about the work that you do.
Oh, thank you. You're gonna make me cry. So yes, you do make people feel great. I mean, just the way you approached me was hilarious. I remember watching you 2 years
I'm
ago.
known for the way that I approach people.
I remember watching you and Lisa Johnson, and Lisa telling how you approached her, and I thought that was hilarious. And then you did something very similar to me, and I was like, this girl's crazy and stuff, but I love her. I think she's amazing. So yes, there is something about knowing why you were put on this earth that it kind of controls all our lives, even when we don't realize that we have a purpose. And the secret is this: if you want to manifest your purpose, you need to start figuring out how.
Yeah.
Because the how has nothing to do with you. I actually say the how is none of your goddamn business. because when you start thinking how, then you start to make a decision and go, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and it's very fixy. It's all about, I'm going to fix the way I feel. Meanwhile, what tends to happen, and this is the beauty, is that when you are searching for your purpose and just allowing yourself to listen to your whisper, because all of us this morning received a whisper this morning. The difference is which of you paid attention and which of you didn't, or which of us, should I say, because I'm equally guilty at times. You have these whispers and you follow the whispers. You follow the whispers to get you to the next stage. And through those whispers, you will find as things start to unfold. And also realize as well, and it goes for me as well, is that I'm not even close to where my purpose is. Like I've not even touched the periphery of my purpose. But what I do know is that I'm on the way. And I'm not figuring out how, I just know it will unfold.
And that's interesting because we've got a couple of things to talk about this morning. You've got an event coming up and a summit coming up that I am so blessed to be a part of. And thank you for having me, Paul. We'll talk about that in just a second. But one of my favorite places to hang out at the moment, because it's such a joyful space, is your Facebook group, Manifestation Kitchen. It's just such it's the lives that you do and how you show up in there, and the meditations that you do and all of that sort of stuff is really helpful for somebody like me right now. And a lot of you out there are feeling this. There's a lot of overwhelm that's happening. There's a lot of, I've been talking about the year 2022. I've felt pending magic. And I don't know what that is. And I don't know what the direct path to anything is. But what I've done, and this is through, watching you, through considering what manifestation and things like that look like, is instead of when I'm writing down, the specific things that I want to manifest, is understanding that, but always framing everything I do now with, I am open to opportunity. I am open to opportunity. I'm open to opportunity, as opposed to, I want £100,000, or I want a Lamborghini, or I want a holiday in the Maldives. At the minute, I know that there's I want big things for IATQB. I want big things for my speakers. I want big things for the Flying Away Foundation.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make that into the big thing that I want it to be. I know how to do it now. I know how to do it in the next step, but not the next and the next step. But if I'm open to opportunity, which has meant that this year, opportunities have been landing in my lap like rain so fast that I've been overwhelmed trying to work out, like, what the fuck do I do with all of this opportunity now? Like, flipping heck, like, there's a lot. And it's a as somebody who used to be relatively cynical around the concept of manifestation,
Yeah.
I love hanging out in the manifestation kitchen just because of the reminder that I need regularly as somebody who runs at 1,000,000 miles an hour to just stop and be open. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about the summit.
Okay, so I did a live yesterday or this morning, can't remember. All the days blend into one. And so thank you, by the way, because I'm growing the group, and I really had to take time to sit down and ask myself how I wanted people to feel.
Mm-hmm.
In manifestation, one of the reasons why I created that group is because I get a lot of messages from people saying, you need to teach me how to manifest. I want to manifest.
Yeah.
And my life, I manifest a lot.
You manifest magic. Like we sat down and had a real long old conversation the other day, and you were telling me some of the things that you've manifested, and I'm like,
yeah. So for the listeners, I've manifested a £3 million home, and I manifested 150 grand ticket to Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny, and manifested an $8,000 hotel room. Anyway, but people believe that it's a magic wand, and manifestation isn't magic. Ooh, I'm going to put that out there. Manifestation isn't magic. And the reason why I say that is because right now there is a Race to Recurring Revenue launch going on.
Yes.
For Lisa Johnson.
Yes.
And I'm partnering with her. And I have sent the link out to people, and I've shared it. And I'm sharing it to people who I know need it.
Mm-hmm.
And who I know, all they need to do is attend a 4-day free event and go and hang out and learn Lisa's magic.
Yeah.
You're in Lisa's world.
I am in Lisa's world, and 8 minutes of magic with Lisa changed my entire life. So if anyone is not a part of that Race to Recurring Revenue challenge, you need to go and get amongst it, because it is game changing if you don't know already.
And yet the questions or the comments I got was, I don't know if it's for me, or I don't have the time. I'm not sure, excuses that would piss you off at the end of the day. And I actually had to go and do a live and say, manifestation starts with action.
Yes.
It starts with action.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're writing something down, whether you're making a phone call, like you say, you don't know what's coming, but you know what to do next.
Right.
And it's just the next thing. It's about saying yes, because you may go into Race to Recurring Revenue. You may not buy the course at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no obligation, but you may meet the person that changed your life.
Yeah.
You may meet the person that can heal your child one day.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what's around the corner. So when people give me excuses, I have an issue. So I'm talking to what you're saying is, you have to take that step. You have to say yes. You have to open up. And so what if you make a mistake? That's why they're called mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's a mistake, which means you get to take it again.
Get to go again.
And again and again. And at least I lived a whole life of not making mistakes. And I had the emptiest life possible. I was just existing. I was so careful. I made sure that I was earning, more than probably all my friends put together. I was earning hundreds of thousands a year. I made sure that I had a job that was on my terms. Like literally, I had never gone through anything until my purpose called me. And then I went from multiple 6 figures to 0. And that's where my journey began. That's where the essence of Victoria began, because before then, she just lived a really, really safe life.
Mm-hmm. And it's saying yes to opportunity that I think is and we've had this conversation a number of times on the show. Like, how do we know the voice. So we talk about whispers, right? Little whispers that,
Yes.
what's your gut saying to you, your head and your heart. And the difference between the two is that often if it's fear that's speaking, it will speak to you in fear. If it's your gut that's speaking, it will speak to you in love. So the love part of the whisper will be, what if this is good? What if this is gonna unfold? What if, and the more that we listen to that, the more we leave ourselves open to it. What if you make a mistake and you get to go again? Like, then that's okay, right? So you can leave yourself open to making a mistake, to, in inverted commas, failing. You're not failing, you're learning. So every time now I'm hit with a brick wall, or I am thrown a curveball, like asking myself the question, what am I learning, turns it into an opportunity anyway. So even when I'm hitting with the nose, like, okay, so this is a no for a reason. If someone's saying, oh no, do you know what, Dan? I can't work with you right now. So for example, I'm in sales mode and I'm, need to make the money for the business or get everyone paid or do whatever. And someone's saying, no, that's not a failure. That, I've put things out there that I haven't sold. That's not a failure. It's a no, it's not right now. It's not right now. You've got other things coming around the corner. And then directly after I've accepted that, something massive has landed in my lap that I wasn't expecting. And it's allowing yourself to be open. Mel Gizzy, good morning, Mel. One of our amazing speakers at Be Inspired at the end of the month. Objections because they don't want to take action. Fear standing in their way. If they want to manifest, they need to take action. And Mel, you do this beautifully. But Victoria, you're dead right. It's intentional action. If you are choosing to take, it's not even the risk, it's the chance. Take the word risk out and say, hey, there's a chance here of something. When you say, hey, there's a risk, you're saying that word out of fear. When you say, let's take a chance, then you're erring on the edge of opportunity, right?
Yeah, you're just leaning into you. You're leaning into, if you think about it and stuff, it's like when you came into this earth, you didn't know that you were in your mom's tummy. You didn't know where you were going to come out of and stuff. Some people you didn't know how easy or traumatic the birth of you was going to be. You didn't know that until you actually came out. And if you had a choice to say, look, it's going to be traumatic when you come out, so what do you want to do? Then you probably would have never come out. And then the world would have missed something, the essence of you. But this is one thing that I always say. When you think of yourself, it's normally when you don't take action. Right. When you think of others, because your whole purpose, everybody, whatever it is, your purpose here is to serve the world. That's why we're put on this earth. We're all brought here to lift others up. We all have someone that we're making them either more successful or giving them more access to something. When you think of others, you will take action. You will listen to that whisper. So next time when you receive a whisper and you're not sure, ask how it will serve others, and then you'll know whether it's a whisper or not. I know somebody who's done a major project at the moment, and bless her, she's lovely, but I know she really wants the edification of it. She wants to be recognized for it and everything else. And I can feel the energy of it. And I pray to God that she's successful and she gets what she needs. But it's very easy that it may not, mainly because of the intention behind it. Your intention should always be, how can I serve others? The money will come, the success will come, the recognition will come. But like you and I didn't come looking for you. I didn't, and yet here I am talking to a group of over 1,000 people and what have you. That's what happens if you show up and you're integral in your purpose. Then the opportunities will find you.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say this: the reason why I believe I met you when I did is because I said yes to Lisa's Christmas party, and I wasn't going to go. And this voice kept on saying, "Just go." And I was like, "Oh God, I've not been out for ages. I can't be bothered. I've got nothing to wear." I had all these excuses. Then I found a dress that had been hanging out in my wardrobe, and I went, "Oh, okay, I'm going to go." And I went in and I stayed, I think, for 2 hours, and I just said hello to everybody. And one of those people came and told you that they'd met me, and that's how we ended up meeting, Claire.
Dr. Claire, we love Dr. Claire on the show.
Yeah, so we love her, and it's all about saying yes, and it's about you never know who you're going to meet, but also you need to show up. You've been talking to these ladies online for a while. Go and show your support. It's all about other people, never about you.
Absolutely. And when we step out of that, it's interesting. So I read a book, what was it? The Science of Getting Rich is what it was. This is Wallace Wattles.
Not read it. Not read it yet.
But I mean, it's like a 2.5 audio book. It's one of the old school ones, right back in the day. But what he talked about was that if we think about the universe as being the thinking substance or God or whatever you want to look at it as, whatever it is, that all we are, all the world is, all space and time is the manifestation, the physical manifestation of that thinking thing, the thing that thinks. So each one of us is an individual manifestation of that. So each one of us is sent to learn a little bit and then go and take that back. And I love that idea. I love that idea that we're here to learn what we need to learn in order to raise that game a little bit more and raise that game a little bit more. So even when we do this in consciousness, and you can think about this in the abstract or not, is that my sister shared a little poem yesterday, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly the words of it, but the theme of it was that I stand on the mountains of the women's sacrifices before me, and I think it's my job to work out in this lifetime, how do I make it easier for the women that come after me to see further. Amen. So like, even if you don't think about it in the abstract of the thinking substance or the universe or God or whatever, that it's still our job to do some of that. And it's not for everybody. The work isn't for everybody, but if you feel the whisper and you hear that and you know that there's something more inside you, and I think that there's a lot of us that do feel like that. That's why we gravitate to these sorts of communities, why we hang out together in this sort of capacities, that we feel that we can hear that in ourselves and saying yes to opportunities to meet up, like Lisa's Christmas party, for example, like Be Inspired, for example, like your incredible summit that you are putting on in the not too distant future. Tell us about that. Victoria Dioh, tell us about that.
So, I am going to be running a summit, and it's called, I keep deciding whether I'm going to call it the Corporate Happiness Summit or the Professional Happiness Summit. So if your listeners have an idea, let me know.
Let's vote. Let's have a vote on it. I like the professional happiness. I like the professional happiness.
Oh, I like that. So one of the reasons, again, as I mentioned, is because I knew that even though I loved my job all those years ago in the corporate world, I can honestly say I wasn't happy. I thought I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And being happy in the corporate world takes a lot, because one, you're going into a space of complete stress, because there's a reason, there's a manifesto that you're working towards, but you also meet different personalities, and then you also have the pressures of KPIs and key performance indicators that you need to meet. And you spend more time with these individuals than you do with your family, lockdown or not. Even if you're sat at your desk at home, you're in calls all day, and you're feeding onto this energy that then makes you realize that either your body hurts, or your mind hurts, or you can't think for yourself, or your relationships are suffering. Or you're not spending time with your children, or even when you're spending time with your children, you're not present with family, you're not present with friends. The list goes on. And then what tends to happen, and I still pop into the corporate world ever so often, is that you just get people who are just shells of themselves. And when I have sort of like delved into this from my experience, but also intuitively, it's mainly down to the fact that people don't know why they were put on this earth. Comes back to finding your purpose. Because if you knew why you're put on this earth, and I'm not telling people to leave the corporate world, what I am saying is find your happiness. And the summit is going to bring amazing people like yourself to help people connect to their voices. It's going to be bringing people like Brian Bradley, who shares the stage with Tony Robbins, talking about your posture. Going to be talking about people who've worked for Natural Successes that bring Tony into the country, about relationships and what have you, to give you some tips on how to connect to your happiness. And I'm going to be talking on the final day, which is mainly about how to connect to that purpose and also how to delve into that. I'll give you an example. I know someone, he was actually my very first boss in London. He headhunted me when I lived in Manchester, brought me over to London begrudgingly. And it was an amazing job, by the way, but like most people know, I say no. But he eventually brought me to London. And he has been a director for over 20 years. And only when it was locked down did he realize what a good carpenter he was. And he has found his bliss. And all of a sudden, you know, whether he's selling the carpentry or not, work has taken a whole new level of a vibration that he'd never connected to before, because he knows why he was put on that earth. A lot of the time when we're unhappy at work or in business, it's because we believe this is it.
Yeah.
Which is why we ask the question, is this it? Is this all I'm going to be doing? And it's not saying ditch the business. It's not saying ditch the job. It's saying, if you know what you were put on this earth for, whether it is teaching kids how to play football, or creating a business and selling cakes, or having a fully fledged business and making millions, either way, you will be a lot happier than what you are now.
Yeah, by allowing
and
yourself
that's
to
what that's
explore it.
Yeah, and that's what the summit is. And also, there's, you know, in the corporate world, it's a lot more. It's a lot more fluid now. But there used to be a time where if you talked about meditation in the corporate world, people would frown. If you talk about healing in the corporate world now, people would still look at you as if you come from the sky and dropped down into the earth. So it's about helping people realize that we're all humans, and we all need healing.
Yeah.
We just need different pieces of healing.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So how do we get involved with this? Because whether you are in employment or not, we have a lot of professionals that are a part of this group. We stream over on LinkedIn, so we have our LinkedIn professionals that are hanging out over there. So big shout out to well, the other day Victoria went big up to everybody on LinkedIn. Who does she think she is, that Dani Wallace? Big shout out to everybody over on LinkedIn. Make yourselves known. I can't recommend highly enough getting involved in this learning that you of this lineup that you've created is just off the bat. So please, would you let us know, how do we get involved with it?
So what we're going to do is, if you are on Facebook, just come into the Manifestation Kitchen group.
Yeah,
because we're going to use that group as the home for the events. We made that decision last week. If you are on LinkedIn, oh my God, we can go live now on LinkedIn. You have no idea how happy I am, because I've not been able to go live for ages.
So the last 2 days,
I know
you was anointed by the LinkedIn gods to go live.
Amen. Yeah. So so we can go live now on LinkedIn. So if you're in LinkedIn, I actually have a group called Corporate Happy. It's still growing, it's fairly new, but go in, and now that we can go live, we're going to be talking to you a lot more, and also streaming both events and what have you. And all the events that happen over in the Manifestation Kitchen group will be happening also in the LinkedIn group. And then when we start rolling stuff out, it will be around April to start telling you more about the summit. You'll be the first to sort of like get that information and book your space. Amazing. And get ready for some incredible speakers.
Fantastic. And I am so lucky to be one of those speakers on that phenomenal lineup. I will be sharing it in the Hive when you can sort of get signed up and joined in for it. But please make sure in the meantime you go and join the Manifestation Kitchen. It's such, I mean, the lives and the value that you provide in there offers such food for thought for me. Like I don't get to connect with that side of me very often because of how busy I am. So whenever I see that you're live, I know it's kind of like coming home a little bit, and I get to connect to that little bit of myself and just stop and have a think and have a meditate and just consider. And I think sometimes that it's worthwhile creating that connection practice for yourself and that spiritual practice for yourself. So thank you for providing a space for that, Victoria. I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you so much. Can I just say, before you wrap up, is that I just want to say thank you so much for just being there and for offering that support. And I must say, when you joined my group, I was like, Dani Wallace has joined my group. and I'm like, is she all right? And then I'm thinking, be cool, because just be cool. And I'm thinking, but why is she in the group? And I was like, be cool, just be cool. And then when I did my first Spiritual Soul Sunday, which happens every Sunday at 8:00, you came in and you were so vulnerable. I was like, is she all right? And you were typing it. And I'm thinking, she's in here typing, and you'll remember. And I just want to say thank you, because that to me shows that I am doing my job, you know, and it's more about if I can change one person's life, if I can help one person, then I know I'm doing my job. So from me to you, thank you so much.
Thank you for providing the space. It's beautiful. And for anybody wanting to get involved, please just go to the search bar right now, type in Manifestation Kitchen, go and hit join, go and get amongst it. If you are over on LinkedIn, please do go search out this phenomenal human being right here. Having her in your life on your news feed will only improve it. Victoria, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Short Wise
Thanks,
at
my
Rise Up
love.
show.
Thank you so much. It's
I'll
great
see
to
you
be here.
soon. So that was the gorgeous Victoria Dioh. I hope that's given you some food for thought this morning, this Wise Up Wednesday. It's just as important that we connect with ourselves and our spirituality and our hearts as much as it is that we connect to the wealth and the finance and the property and all of that incredible stuff that we manifest in our lives. We've got to know the how, and leaving yourself open to opportunity and allowing yourselves to say yes and taking a chance instead of a risk, allowing yourself to see what could happen instead of what couldn't happen, then it's always worth it. And with that in mind, I implore you to do two things this week. One is to get your bloody ticket to Be Inspired, whether it's online or in the room. You are going to be blown away by the quality of the speakers that I've got for you this time. 22 speakers across 2 days. The 1 day ticket, I think it's £89 plus VAT for the whole 2 days. You can watch from the comfort of your own home with our TV quality live stream that remains interactive. So we bring you into the room as well. We talk to you whilst you're there. You're very much a part of it. You're not a voyeur in the situation. Or get a ticket. There's just a few left. Tickets in the room. There are also some table hosting available if you want. If you and 8 friends want to get together, you want to host a table, you can actually reduce the price of your ticket by about £80. Well worth it. So if you want to know more about hosting a table, please do get into my inbox right now. If you and 8 friends want to come along, we can make it so that it's even more cost effective for you to get yourself there. That's Be Inspired. I'm the queenbee.co.uk/events. That's where you get your ticket from. Bloody love the Zoom vibe. Definitely feel included. Yes, Amy Blaney. It's for those that cannot make it in the room, it is still worthwhile getting an online ticket, and you'll have lifetime access to that event, as well as all of the freebies and fabulousness that our speakers provide in our speakers area. More on that today. Keep your peepers peeled on your emails. I'm going to be emailing you the first of our speaker reveals today. I'm going to be revealing 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 of our incredible speakers for Be Inspired. So keep your peepers peeled. I will see you on Friday for more showing up, wising up and rising up. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I certainly have. Go and check out the Manifestation Kitchen, Victoria Dioh. She's a wonderful human to have in your life. I'll see you later on. Ta-ra.